All right, let's watch a video. All right, we're gonna watch a video. Apparently it's Bernie Sanders going in on RFK Jr. So let's watch this. This looks like it's gonna be amazing. Look at Bernie's already. He looks like he's preloaded. He's ready to go. Let's go, Bern.
America healthy when so many people cannot afford?
Wait.
Are we making America healthy when so many people cannot afford to go to a doctor? Is healthcare a human right? Will you work with us to guarantee healthcare to every man, woman, and child in America?
Well, easy question. I can't say that because Trump will fire me if I say that right now. Trump will fire me, and I can't swim in Schitt's Creek anymore.
Will you work with us to guarantee healthcare to every man, woman, and child in America?
Well, I think you're asking two different questions.
Every other country guarantees healthcare to all people as a right. Should we?
If you're asking me a philosophical question,
And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way.
gotta, give you a thoughtful answer.
Within 30 seconds.
There are million people, Senator.
Thank you, Nina.
As you know, I have a very limited amount of time.
You asked the question, I'm going to answer it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me stop going back to prescription drugs. Mr. Secretary, did I hear you correctly to state that your goal is to have Americans pay the lowest prices in the world or equivalent to what is paid?
I love Tesla.
That is my goal, that you are prepared to work with us on legislation to achieve that goal.
Absolutely.
All right. And I believe there's bipartisan support for it. I believe that if the leadership here prioritizes that, we can do that in a very short period of time. Look forward.
I like how Bernie talks to him, dude. Bernie's just like, look, I don't want any of this bullshit. Don't give me any of the bullshit. All I want is you to listen to the words I'm saying and then repeat back to me the shit that you should be saying, not the shit that you're going to say. Okay? Please? Please? And then RFK is like, Obama.
to that. Let me ask you this as Secretary of HHS. We have in America today some 85 million Americans who are uninsured or underinsured. We spend more per capita, as you've indicated, than any other country. Is healthcare a human right? Are we making America healthy when so many people cannot afford to go to a doctor, when 68,000 people a year die because they don't get to a doctor when they should?
Hold on, RFK's answer. This is RFK's answer.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets.
That's how RFK is about to answer this.
Is healthcare a human right? Will you work with us to guarantee healthcare to every man, woman, and child in America?
Well, I think you're asking two different questions. You're asking a philosophical question about whether...
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I love the poorly educated.
Whether it is a human right, like a constitutional right. As an attorney, I would say that...
He said, as an attorney.
that, it's not a right of a kind that we otherwise enshrine in the Constitution, because healthcare costs your neighbor money. If I smoke cigarettes...
Motherfucker, you know what he's asking you.
...for 20 years, I make that choice, which is my choice.
I don't mean to, I don't have a lot of time, so
Bro, like, when you say something so fucking stupid, like, if this person chooses to smoke a pack of cigarettes a day for 20 years, why do I have to pay for that? You're completely forgetting that our entire environment is filled with industrial fucking chemicals that we all have no fucking choice but to inhale, but to eat, but to drink because of dipshits like RFK Jr. and Donald fucking Trump. This isn't like a case of like every person in America starts out with a pristine start, and every choice that they make from there is really just accountable to them and them only. Therefore, healthcare is not a right, dog, because really you're the one who made all of these decisions. Oh, really? Oh, Did I make the decisions to fucking have cars polluting the fucking air all the time? Did I make the decisions to allow people to smoke cigarettes in restaurants for fucking like 30 straight years? Did I make the fucking decisions to not put nutritional facts on food until motherfuckers were walking around with 64-ounce thirst busters drinking soda all day because none of us fucking knew that we weren't supposed to? Or was that because somebody that had the controls to the government were making decisions for me that impact my fucking health? I swear to God, put me in a ring with this man.
I am here.
If you're asking me a philosophical question, I gotta, give you a thoughtful answer.
Within
I
30
love the
seconds.
poorly educated.
It's a problem.
So, it's not like freedom of speech, which costs, everybody.
But every other country, Mr. Secretary,
Squishmallow, I
every other
definitely was
country
not pristine.
guarantees health care to all people as a right. Should we, as Americans?
The objective is to get.
Yeah, I see you guys saying the 30 years thing. I know. I was just attempting to give a good number, and you guys know that. you guys know that I'm wrong on that. But yeah, it was longer than 30 years.
Americans the level of health care that they want, the choice.
Dude, how many fucking Americans broke their backs for this country? How many Americans worked in mines for this country? How many Americans have lost limbs for this country? This country owes Americans health care. I don't give a shit if it's a human right. I don't care if it's ensconced in the Constitution. This country is this country because we fucking built it. We deserve health care because this country doesn't exist if it wasn't for Americans sacrificing everything they fucking have so that way it can be the most resource-rich, wealthy, biggest fucking consumer market in the fucking world. Fuck you. Fuck your opinions on whether or not a certain person deserves or doesn't deserve health care. If you're that fucking full of your own shit that you can't figure out that every single person in this country, whether it's them or their mother or their father or their uncle or their sister, has sacrificed something to get us to where we are today, then you're lost. And you know what? Fuck these people. They don't deserve to have the positions that they have.
Which Americans want.
They don't want the choice to be uninsured.
I'm sorry, Mountain Bike.
Well,
But they don't want the choice to die because they don't get to a doctor on time.
Americans prefer private insurance to other insurance sources.
Do you believe? Okay.
And what I would say is, I want
How do you know that? How do you know that? You don't know that.
to find a solution to this. I want every American to have insurance. President Trump wants every American to be insured and have access to health care. The question is, how do we get there? Obamacare is not working. It is not working. And this is the...
Sorry to interrupt you. All right. The reconciliation...
My job is to try to make it work.
All right. I have limited time. The reconciliation bill that is now being worked on in the House will come to the Senate. As it stands right now, cuts Medicaid in the Affordable Care Act by more than $715 billion, which the CBO has estimated would eliminate health insurance for 13.7 million Americans, and also raise co-payments for millions of others, is throwing 13 million Americans off of the health care they have, poor and working class people, keeping America healthy.
Well, I haven't seen that number. I've seen the number 8 million.
See, this is what I hate about these people. Oh, well, I haven't seen that number. Oh, I don't know. 8 million. 8 million still bad. Brainworm boy.
And here the people, the cuts are not true cuts. The cuts are eliminations of waste, abuse, and fraud.
Ah, yeah, use the good NPC language. Yeah, let's fucking trigger the brainwashing of the morons watching this shit. Holy fuck, he said waste, fraud, and abuse, guys. That means anything else that's going on right now, you should just forget about. He used the NPC brainwashing language, guys. He said waste, fraud, abuse. That means you're supposed to fucking trigger that response. Oh, yes, sir. Oh, yes, sir. That means, you know what? My sister who has cancer, she shouldn't have health care because you know what? Rfk Jr. said there's waste, fraud, and abuse, and they're addressing that. You know, my dad, who worked in an industry that has destroyed his health for 20 years. That guy, oh yeah, fuck that guy. You know why? Because Rfk Jr. said waste, fraud, and abuse, guys. Yet they can't fucking prove any of it. Not a single one. All this fraud, all this abuse, no one's being arrested. Well, that's weird. All this waste, they can't show you a single fucking bit of it. Oh, that's weird. Every time that they've said that the fucking Doge committee had made cuts or done this or gotten rid of that, they had to fucking roll it back because they didn't do a goddamn thing. They've been fucking lying to you this whole goddamn time. And Elon Musk wasn't doing any of that. He was stealing your fucking information, and now he's back home jerking off to your social security number. But don't worry, guys. He said the magic words. Waste, fraud, abuse. And now there's a bunch of low-level, stupid fucking people going, oh, I'll believe anything he says now.
I love the poorly educated.
And I can go through. I can go through the people who will lose it. There are a million people. There are a million
I really
people,
don't mean
Senator.
to be rude, but as you know, I have a very limited amount of time.
You asked a question, I'm going to answer it.
Well, yeah, I've got a bunch of questions that I would like you to answer as well. All right.
He knows you're about to make a round-ass bullshit statement. A million people are actually a million people are actually I'm dying up here. But I'm gonna tell you about being healthy. Fuck this guy. This is irritating the shit out of me. I swear to God, put me in a ring with this fucking guy. Jesus Christ, we're probably in the same weight class, almost in the same age class. Fucking just please, for charity, let's make it fucking happen. For charity. And not no fucking pussy ass boxing shit. MMA, dog. MMA. For charity. That's my offer. Holy shit, what he's about to say is, a million people have been designated as being able to work. And that means that they shouldn't be receiving the benefits that they're getting. Oh, have you gone over all 1 million of those? Oh, have you gone out and fucking sat down with these people? Have you talked to them? Have you personally reviewed that? Has anybody personally reviewed that? Because that'd be really fucking weird that you went through this shit with a fine-tooth fucking comb and went through every single person's personal record to figure out whether or not these people should or should not be on this system in this amount of time. Wow, that's crazy. You guys are fucking superhuman. You were able to go out and figure out that 8 million people were all 100% legit not supposed to be getting these benefits? Holy fuck, you guys are the most efficient dumbasses I've ever seen in my life.
We talk about austerity, doing
I swear to
more
God.
with less, but in that very
Fucking
same bill
north-south.
that's being worked on in the House right now, there are $235 billion in tax breaks for the top 0.2%.
Where's
Do you
your
think
tattoo?
that makes
Why
sense?
come you don't have a tattoo?
When that same bill would throw 13 million
These
people
fucking guys,
off of
man.
Medicaid? Should we give tax breaks to billionaires and throw kids and others off of Medicaid?
You're conflating
Easy question, RFK.
the congressional bills with proposals from the president. The president
No, I'm talking
is
about
not
the
making
congressional
these-
bill. I'm talking about the bill, the reconciliation bill.
I mean, the president is not trying to do tax cuts for billionaires. He's trying to have no tax on tips and no tax for
I hate these people.
230.
Oh, thank you for the $10. Thank you for the $10, Num Dum. This is the dumbest timeline. It is the dumbest of timelines.
$35 billion by through
How
the
many
estate
people,
tax.
how many billionaires
I
do you
don't have
know
that side.
that are making overtime or making any part of their tips?
235.
What a fucking garbage argument. Yeah, we're gonna make America great again by not taxing overtime or not taxing tips. You know what would make America great again? Taxing billionaires at a proportionate level of their wealth. That. You don't have to fucking give a bunch of money through not taxing tips on overtime or tips and overtime. You don't have to eliminate the tax on tips and overtime if ultra wealthy people in our country are paying a proportionate amount of their wealth and savings in taxes to what middle class, lower middle class, and upper middle class people do pay. Then you don't have to do that. You know why? Because the real problem in this country is that we have allowed a certain group of people to take the largest amount of wealth and resources, which equals the largest amount of voice in our government, and let them hoard it, because we've convinced middle-class Americans that if we don't, they'll just pick their ball up and go home. At the same time, telling people that we can tariff other countries into submission. We can't tariff ultra-wealthy corporations into submission? Oh, but we can definitely tariff China into submission? That sounds fucking weird to me. That sounds like it don't make any fucking sense.
I love the poorly educated.
Billion. Look, it's a big bill. There are a lot of provisions in it.
Yeah,
but
lift
you
the cap
cannot
on Social
deny
Security. Thank
the
you,
top
Talia.
0.2% will get $235 billion in tax breaks while we cut Medicaid. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Mr. Secretary, thanks for being with us. Let me begin
Who's he talking to?
by quoting a sentence that came from your prepared remarks.
Oh, nice.
You state, and I quote,
This is a different
"The United
time.
States remains the sickest developed nation, and we spend $4.5 trillion annually on health care, 2 to 3 times more per capita than comparable nations. Clearly, something is structurally wrong with our approach," end of quote. You're right. The current healthcare system is broken. It is wildly expensive. It is dysfunctional. So what do we do, Mr. Secretary, to address it? Maybe for a start, we do what every other major country on earth does and recognize that healthcare is a human right guaranteed to every man, woman, and child. Maybe we understand that the function of a rational healthcare system.
What a garbage ass fake piece of shit RFK Jr. is. You know, when we first started doing this shit and people were asking me about RFK Jr., I was like, you know what? There's a lot of stuff dude talks about. Like, that's okay with me. You know, like, for sure people should go outside. For sure people should eat healthier. For sure people should exercise. He was fake. He was fake the whole fucking time. This whole time, this dude had no values. He had no morals. All he cared about was getting into a position that made him feel like he lived up to the name Kennedy, that he was just as good as his dad, that he's just as good as his uncle, he's just as important. That's all he cared about. He is a fucking charlatan. This man don't care about whether or not Americans are going to get healthier. This man is just like Donald Trump. He hopes that at one point or another, if he throws enough darts in the dark, that he'll finally hit a bullseye and he can finally say on his deathbed that he was a person that in some way earned the right to be one of the great Kennedys. Just like Donald Trump wants to claim that he is one of the great presidents. And just like Donald Trump, you're never going to get that because you've already dug a hole so goddamn deep that you'll never, ever, ever, ever get out of it. And you know what? It might be spiteful. It might be petty. But I'm pretty fucking happy that's true. Because people like Rfk Jr., people like Donald Trump should never be iconicized. They should never be looked up to. They should never be given leadership roles. They should be held accountable for their bullshit, and they should be held responsible for the shit that they have done to the American citizens that have bared the burden of their bad decisions and mistakes.
System is not to make hundreds of billions of dollars in profit for insurance companies and drug companies who often engage in stock buybacks,
Yeah, fan, that's what
pay
I'm
their
saying.
CEOs outrageous compensation packages. There was a guy from one of the major drug companies sitting exactly where you are sitting. Last year, a guy makes $50 million a year. Meanwhile, we don't have enough doctors, we don't have enough nurses, we don't have enough dentists, we don't have enough pharmacists, we don't have enough healthcare workers in general. You are right. The system is structurally broken. We spend far more, we have a shorter life expectancy than other countries. So this is an issue that I want to address with you. How, in fact, do we guarantee health care to all people and do it in an effective way? Let me say a word about prescription drugs. You and President Trump had a press conference earlier this week discussing an executive order that both of you claimed would make sure that the American people pay the lowest prices in the world for prescription drugs, not the highest. As you mentioned at your press conference, this is a concept that I personally strongly.
Yeah, this is something that Bernie supported. This is something that is highly fucking bullshit because, and I don't even blame Republicans for this. I blame Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin for this. Joe Biden wanted to do this. Joe Biden wanted to make this happen. Republicans called it communism. Republicans called it price controls. Republicans railed against this until all Biden could get passed was insulin being lowered, and there's also negotiations for some other drugs as well. But this is something that Bernie was for, and it's something that I'm for as well. I just think it's complete and utter fucking bullshit that for the last 4 years, Americans have had to pay. Not me, by the way, not me. I'm talking about other people. Have had to pay insanely high prices for medications, and now we're deciding to do it.
Support. I think you are
What up, Jay?
aware of that. But as President Trump and you should know, this executive order, like Trump's previous executive orders on the subject, will likely be thrown out by the courts, and we will be back to exactly where.
And that's why, okay, so that makes sense because that's why people on the left, everybody on the left was saying Joe Biden should have just done it as an executive order. So obviously Biden understood that it wouldn't hold up in court. It's the same thing that happened with the, when he wanted to forgive college debt, the Supreme Court said no, he couldn't do that. The left said he should use this one act that was an older law to do it. And Biden said, if I do that, the Supreme Court will just roll it back and it won't do us any good. And this is, like I said, this is the difference between Biden's administration. Well, there's a lot of difference between Biden's administration and Trump's administration. But one of the most significant differences between the Biden administration and the Trump administration is that the left is going to hold Biden accountable, right? So if Biden doesn't follow through and he puts his money where his mouth is, and he tries to push through these medicines being made cheaper, and it goes to the Supreme Court and they kick it out, then the left holds Biden accountable because they say, you said you're going to do this, you didn't do it. You know, it's catch-22. It's damned if you, damned if you don't. Whereas on Trump's side of the aisle, if he pushes this through as an executive order and it goes to the Supreme Court and they say no, no one will know anything for the better. 2 years, 3 years, 4 years from now, everybody will be talking about the fact that Trump lowered drug prices even though he didn't. Like, that's most likely, right? And they stopped the best IDR plan that was ever created. It helped a lot of people with affording their payments. Yeah, exactly.
Where we are today paying by far the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs.
Very tall building.
In my view, the way forward is through legislative action. So, if you and President Trump are serious about significantly lowering the outrageous price of prescription drugs in this country, as I hope you are, I would very much appreciate both of you working with me and other people on this committee and in the Senate on legislation that I will soon be introducing, which accomplishes exactly the same goal as you and the...
There you go. Put your money where your mouth is. You want to be you want to be a real Kennedy, you want to be like somebody of some importance, put your money where your mouth is, work with Bernie Sanders, get that legislation done, and you know, Trump's not going to like it because it's not his win, but it's a win for the American people.
The president talked about making sure that we pay no more for prescription drugs than people
Thanks,
in other
Jay.
major countries.
Thanks, Jay.
So if we are serious about
What's
that,
up,
let's
Kelly?
work together and let's make that happen. And in fact, if Republicans and Democrats come together on this, if we prioritize it,
insane
we can
that
pass
we're
that
not.
legislation in a couple of weeks. Thirdly,
Rand Paul's like,
Secretary
nope,
Kennedy,
nope,
all of us
nope.
want to make the government more efficient and cost-effective, and few would deny that there is too much bureaucracy. But let me tell you also what we want and what the American people want. And that is, we want the federal government to play a major role in continuing its efforts to combat such terrible diseases as cancer, Alzheimer's, diabetes, heart disease, and other terrible illnesses that claim the lives of millions of Americans. In that regard, I must tell you that I have heard from citizens, patients, and doctors in Vermont and all over this country who are deeply concerned that under the leadership of you and Mr. Musk, the Trump administration has terminated at least $13.5 billion in health care funding, including more than 1,600 grants to conduct vital research into cancer prevention, Alzheimer's, diabetes, and cardiovascular disease, among many other medical research investments. In the first 3 months of this year, the National Institute of Health has been effectively cut by $2.7 billion, a 35% cut, reversing over a decade of investment in medical research.
Crazy.
Under your leadership, cancer research has been slashed by 31%. Further, Secretary...
Yeah, but don't worry, guys. Don't worry.
White males way up. White males have gone through the roof. White males way up.
Kennedy, under your leadership, you have undermined the vital role vaccines play in preventing disease during the single largest measles outbreak in 25 years, which has led to over 1,000 cases of...
But.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets.
measles, over 125 hospitalizations, and 3
I love
deaths.
Tesla.
Let me say a word about USAID. Elon Musk, the richest man on earth, who has led the effort to cut health and nutrition programs for the poorest people on earth, has absurdly suggested that
Bernie.
no one, quote unquote, no one, has died from the massive cuts to USAID. Mr. Musk is 100% wrong. According to independent
Jesus
researchers,
Christ.
nearly 200,000 people have already died throughout the world as a result of the massive cuts in funding to prevent malaria, tuberculosis, HIV, malnutrition, and other serious diseases. Further, as a result of the elimination of U.S. funding for a global vaccine program, it has been estimated that over 1 million children will die because of the cuts that will save taxpayers very, very little money. So let me just...
Yeah, it's not going to save us any money. That's the fucking point. None of this saves us any money. It saves them money. It doesn't save us any money.
conclude by saying this. The United States of America is the wealthiest country on earth. We should have the best healthcare system in the world, not one of the worst. Given our purchasing power, we should be paying the lowest prices on earth for prescription drugs, not the...
But you know why that is? Is because These people are in the pockets of pharmaceutical companies, something that MAGA claims that they're against, but willfully backs up. And it's literally like you're just sheep to be fleeced. The American government is making it so that way the American people have to pay insane prices for drugs, so that way pharmaceutical companies can continue to generate record profits year after year. They're not here for you. Bernie's one of the only people standing up there saying shit about this. Where are all the other people that should be talking about this 24/7? That the American people are being fleeced, that they are being fattened and butchered like pigs, that they are being scammed and conned by their own government. Where are they at?
The highest, instead of giving hundreds of billions of dollars in tax breaks to the richest people in this country, we should be proudly investing in coming up with cures for cancer, Alzheimer's disease, diabetes, and other terrible illnesses.
100%.
That is what we should be doing. But I am afraid that in too many ways, we are doing exactly the opposite.
Good job, Bernie. Dude, Bernie's a fucking real one. I can't understand how people don't like Bernie. Like, it's fucking insane. People have literally been, like, brainwashed to hate themselves and hate the people that are on the same level as them. It's, like, always been this way. It always will be this way. It's like, no, it's for the sake of competition. It's going to make us more innovative. Like, no, it isn't. They steal all your ideas. You're not two great ideas from becoming one of them. You're one really bad idea from becoming everybody that you hate. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. And check out that video on the screen now.